Horrifying hello to my fear-loving fiends. Welcome to another fantastic edition of the Horror Tour Guide podcast. And I'm your horror host, Slaughter Sin, She-Wolf, Empress of Gore. And today we have a delicious new guest, guaranteed to make your bones chill. Please introduce yourself and tell us where you're from.
Hey, I'm director Dustin Ferguson, and I am from sunny Southern California.
You are a producer, director, actor, cinematographer, editor. What would you primarily like to be referred to as job title-wise?
An artist.
An artist, okay. So, Dustin, doing a little background on you, you've made over 56 films. I'm not sure if I'm correct with that number, but how many films total have you made to date?
You actually are the first person to nail it. Yeah, I've just finished my 56th feature.
Oh, yay. Yay, me see, I do my homework. 56 films. Wow, congratulations. In how many years have you accomplished this goal?
It's been just over 10 years now I've been doing this.
Wow. How and when exactly did you get started?
Okay, well, I went to college in the early 2000s, graduated in 2003, because I wanted to open a video store, actually. But that was when all the video stores were closing, so I just ended up going and getting a management job at a pizza place. And one day I decided, because I was a big fan of horror movies, that I wanted to get a group of my coworkers together and go out and make our own little horror movie. And so we did, and I kind of got addicted. And that was just over 10 years ago, so I've been doing it ever since.
Wow, that's really cool. So you're not originally from California, correct?
Yeah, actually, I pretty much am from and grew up in Nebraska, and I moved out here about 8 months ago.
Oh, wow. Moving out to California, has it been a turning point in your career?
Oh, yeah, definitely, because I was making Nemesis 5 in Nebraska, and it's funny because everything kind of came full circle, because I actually opened my own video store on January 1st of 2017.
Oh,
because
congrats.
at that point, it had kind of come back, into culture, like the way record stores have. There's like a nostalgia for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I had gone and opened a video store, and then while I was working there, I started making the film Nemesis 5, and kind of decided in the middle of making that film that I wanted to relocate out here, because I had an opportunity to come and do some movies for a particular company while not releasing, and so I was able to sell my video store, actually, and use the money from that to relocate out here and do this full-time here. Nice.
What was the name of your video store?
Old School Video, and it's still running. It's got two guys running it, Mike Reeve and Scott Trampy, and Mike Reeve's actually my screenwriter in a lot of my films. He wrote Nemesis 5, for example.
So you just recently, while we're on the subject, can you tell me a little bit more about Nemesis 5? I know you just recently won an award for that, correct?
Yeah. Nemesis 5 is, obviously the fifth installment in the Nemesis series. The first four movies were directed by Albert Pune. He's known for doing Mean Guns and Cyborg and a bunch of, 90s post-apocalyptic, sci-fi action movies.
Yes.
I was a fan of the series, so I approached him about doing a final installment to kind of tie everything up, and after talking it out, he agreed, and so Mike wrote the script, and basically it's a giant love letter to the whole series. It's for the fans. It kind of ties all the knots. The series is sort of about, how humanity's been taken over by cyborgs, and there's, a little resistance growing to try and get humanity back on top. And so that's basically what this movie does, and it travels back in time and in the future, and we spent only a couple weeks shooting it, but it was about a year of putting it together, because there was a lot of post-production, because we had, laser guns and stuff, and crazy effects in it. And, just at the Los Angeles Nollywood Film Awards, and it won 4 awards, actually. We won Best Actress for Donna Heising, and Best Actor for Mel Novak, and then I won Best Feature Film and Best Director for the movie.
Nice. Congratulations. It's a solid win.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it should be out on DVD here in December, so I think we're all pretty excited for it to finally come out.
Nice, guys. So all you Nemesis fans, you've heard it here on Horror Tour Guide. Make sure you go out and grab yourself a copy once it's released.
Exactly.
So tell me a little bit more about your projects. I know that you have an affinity of making remakes and sequels, primarily that have already been kind of tied into franchises. What attracts you to that, or compels you to making that, or approaching films like that?
It's strange. I don't know if I ever intentionally meant to kind of go in this direction. It just sort of happened that way because, I'm obviously a fan of horror films. You can't not be and do this stuff. And so I grew up, really into it. And I guess I just was always into the big franchise when I started doing it myself, I get kind of a thrill out of like being able to go back to something that's nostalgic to me. A lot of the stuff I'm doing are sequels or remakes to movies that I grew up on. It just personally means a lot to me to be able to be connected to them, so I think I just kind of seek out that work the most.
Is there a particular franchise, sequel, or remake that you have your heart set on doing, or are you pretty much satisfied that goal?
Gosh, well, there's so much, as a fan that I would love to do. I mean, I've been lucky, I've been involved in Sleepaway Camp and Slumber Party Massacre and, Nemesis and some other movies, so I'm definitely grateful for the ones I've already been involved in. But I know that, I grew up on Full Moon movies, Puppet Master and Demonic Toys and all those, and I always thought it'd be fun to do a movie like that, or even, a Child's Play film, just something that kind of, defies logic, like in the imagination, the way that like something that you can bring to life with stop motion animatronics, that you need a little bit of money to do. I feel like it'd just be exciting to do something like that.
Yes, I love those classic films. I mean, the puppetry, the animatronics, that was like raw artistic talent.
Definitely.
Not that I'm not a fan of CGI, it's just that I feel like they oversaturate it now in the industry, and I would love to see that come back.
Oh, me too. It's totally doable, and the thing is, it's always going to look real, like CGI dates after a couple of years. You watch a movie from 5 years ago, and it looks like crap, but if you watch a movie from the 80s, it's still there. It's still on camera happening.
Yes, agreed. Tell me a little bit about your own personal projects that you've written, directed yourself.
Like Tales from the Grave?
Yes.
I love Tales from the Crypt and Tales from the Dark Side and all the anthology shows of the 80s.
Yes, I'm a fan.
This is... Oh, yeah, this is definitely, like, my variation of that. Like, I have a very similar opening that's in a graveyard, just like how the Tales from the Dark Side is, with a creepy, eerie narrator. And each episode, well, the season one's already done and released, and that was last year. And it's just, I think it was six directors. I was one of them. And we all just collectively directed our own episodes, and then I put the same intro on all of them, and we released them online. And then it came out to DVD later by Screen Time Films. And now we're doing season 2, and I have my episode finished, and about half the episodes are done now. So mine's going to premiere September 1st, actually for free on YouTube, and then they'll be released later on Amazon Prime.
Oh, nice. Make sure to send me a link once you do. I'd love to take a look at it, and if it's on YouTube, then I can put it on the site as well.
Yeah, that'd be great. And I'm really into, the story that I did for my episode. It's called The Witch of the Woods. And so it's very, like, old school in its approach. It's like two guys going to a concert. They decide to cut through the woods where the ghost of a witch haunts it. And so, they're terrorized by that. So it's very simple in its approach, but very creepy and effective. And that's sort of like the approach I take for the whole show. That was kind of like the requirement for all the directors. I'm like, I want it to be simple and effective and atmospheric, and so that's really the focus of it.
Nice. Sounds good. I can't wait to watch it. Which of your projects, out of all the projects that you have done thus far, stand out to you the most?
Well, Sleepaway Camp 4 will always just have a special place because it was like my break into the industry. I did that like in 2008, and it's sort of like how I first got my name in the industry, so that there's always that. But then, of course, Nemesis 5 had the biggest budget, and it was a huge experience for me, doing that. I feel like that really changed my life and getting me out here and everything. So definitely Nemesis 5 is going to probably go down as like the one that was the turning point in my life.
So would you say it's like your most rewarding experience, or just more of the film that was like the catalyst to pushing towards your career right now, where you stand?
I guess on a technical level, I'd have to say, that it's the most rewarding, because the thing with doing low-budget movies is that you can't ever really say they're rewarding. I mean, you break your back making
I'm a filmmaker too,
Well, I mean, obviously you're proud of your work, of course, I mean, as a filmmaker, but, I'm saying, like, technically it's not like you see a lot of money from it. It's not, you're always working, you're working yourself to the bone, for the art, and it's because you love it, and it's rewarding in those aspects for sure, like, you have that satisfaction of the complete project and your hard work. But as far as, like, actually making a difference, I feel like changing me as a filmmaker and making me grow, Nemesis 5 stands out because it was the one that it got me to move to California. It got me a film deal. I've now got too much work, like I have to turn down work. And it's all noticeable. It was all because of this, it's sort of like once that
Nice. Now, do you have your own production company, or do you outsource with other companies, or are you signed to a specific company, or?
Well, it's interesting because I'm all over the place. I feel like the key to success, is just really not being afraid to do hard work. Mm-hmm. And so, if it's a project I want to be a part of, I involve myself. I'm a part of it. I've done, I did the Night of the Demons and Police Academy documentary about a month ago, and that was for a company out of the UK. They flew down here and we shot it in Burbank. But then, Nemesis 5 was my own, quote-unquote production company, which is SoCal Cinema Studios. And it's sort of every few years, you kind of have eras of people that you work with, as a director, where people come into the picture and then people kind of leave the picture. And so sort of every time I kind of get a regular group of people, I end up changing the name of the label, because before it was Sinister Studios when I was in Nebraska, and now that I'm in Southern California, it's become SoCal Cinema Studios.
Nice. I like Sinister Studios.
A lot of people say that, and I'm torn on it because, I have this Killer Tomatoes project coming up, and the filmmaker, the creators, they really like the name Sinister Studios, and they want that name on the movie.
I think you should go for it.
It's not my company anymore.
Yeah, not
no, I probably will.
Yes, not like the other name is bad. It's just that there's something about Sinister Studios. It really has a ring to it, and I think that you should kind of stick with it only because that's your baby. That's what you started with.
Yeah.
It has a history of how it's grown over time. I think you should stick with it. I mean, just my opinion.
No, I totally agree. And the thing is I have all my big movies are made under that, umbrella. The only reason I had ever decided to really change the name was because I did Horn Dog's Beach Party, and I felt like if I was going to start doing some non-horror stuff, it would be a little odd to have the Sinister Studios brand on it. Mm-hmm. So I was like,
well, that makes sense.
I should have another label.
Well, you could have two.
Yeah, I could have two. I could just have SoCal for the non-horror. I mean,
yes. Works. Go for it. New change for Dustin. Well, old change. He's coming back. He's coming back to Sinister Studios. I'd love to see your logo for that.
Oh, yeah. I'll have to get it back now.
Okay, cool. Tell me a little bit about some of your most recent projects that you've completed, because I have been actively following you on Facebook, behind this one, of course, as a fan of Night of the Demons and Police Academy, my childhood favorite. So tell me a little bit about that project. So you've completed both the documentaries. Tell us a little bit about that, and when do you foresee it coming to DVD, the movies?
Start at the beginning, basically. It's by this company that's done Cult Screening, UK, and they're out of the UK. Cult Screenings Limited, out of the UK. They've done the Pennywise documentary, the Robo doc. They've done the Hellraiser documentary that have come out, and so these are just basically the new ones that they produced. And like I said, they're out of the UK, but they flew to the US to do this here in Burbank. And so for the Police Academy, we shot them together. And so for the Police Academy one, I was the director of photography, and then in the Night of the Demons one, I was the co-director of the actual documentary. Yeah, it was crazy though, because it was Police Academy has 7 movies. Yes, 7 movies. The cartoon series,
yes.
the TV series. There's and you're not just actors, crew members too. There's so many people involved.
Wow.
So we had tons of interviews, and then we did The Night of the Demons at the same time, and of course there's 3 films and a remake there. Mm-hmm. It's oh my god, it was insane. It was just
overwhelming, but
yeah, it was fun. It was definitely worth it because all the celebrities, for example, that are involved in all of the films, I got to meet a lot of people and make a lot of connections, and I did it really for that. The pay is nice, but you do it for the connections when you're in this industry.
Definitely.
And the only thing that sucked about it was, Burbank, for me, is just only about an hour away, but our shooting schedule was always starting early in the morning and then ending kind of late at night, which meant I was always leaving during rush hour and then coming home during rush hour. So my hour drive would be over 3 hours there and then over 3 hours back, and then we'd be 12 hours at the studio. So it was just 18-hour days every day for 2 weeks.
Ooh.
So it wore on me, but it was worth it because, like I said, we got so much done, and they're putting it together now, and they're both, I guess, planning on having them come out by next summer.
Oh,
so,
nice.
In the late spring. So.
Definitely looking forward to that. And I do empathize in terms of the LA commute. I just moved from North Hollywood, so I feel your pain. I love Hollywood. Yeah. Burbank is pretty close to there where I used to live. But I can totally empathize with the commute, because that commute, once you get caught in that traffic, it's killer.
It is, and it's once in a while, like I decided to I live in Marietta, which is I think it's 70 miles from downtown LA. So when you go and it's not rush hour, it's about an hour and 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. But if you go during rush hour, it's like 3 to 4 times as long.
Yes.
And it's worth it for once. I decided to move here because I'm not going to be in LA every day. I'm like, well, it's way cheaper to live here. It's a lot nicer. There's no crime. And then when I need to go to LA, I'll make the drive. It's worth it. But then there's just those times like that where it's like, okay, 14 hours, 14 days back to back. Like, great. This is going to be awesome.
Aw. Well, good. And then you're going to have basically seeing the fruits of your labor once it's all said and done. So that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, and they're super cool. Obviously, I'm a fan
great
of both
projects. Yeah.
Yeah, like Night of the Demons is badass. Like, I love those. I love all 3 of them and the remake. A lot of people don't like the 3rd one of the remake, but I'm down with all of them.
Nice.
And Police Academy 2 is freaking hilarious, It's so cool to get to meet the people that were in all those films, because they're legendary. It's like, blew my mind. It was such a crazy experience.
Yes, that's amazing. Are you into music as well?
Yeah. It's so funny because a lot of people in interviews have asked me about that lately, but they don't understand if it's serious. They're like, I saw something about music. Is that for real? Yes.
So you're a man of many talents.
As an artist, like I said, I like to be called an artist because I'm not just a director. I do a lot of things. I just do what I feel like doing because I'm creative, and I like music just as much as I like movies. It's a big part of my life. I've done 56 films, but I've done over 80 music videos. I've directed for other people.
Oh, wow.
And so a lot of that, too, is like a trade thing. Like, I'll direct a video for a big band so I can use their music in my film. So it sort of like helps us both. They get like a free music video and I get like a good song in my movie. And so I've been doing that for a while, and there was this artist, E-Rocker. He's out of Germany, and he does electro breakdance style music, and I'm a big fan of his stuff. And I did a few videos for him and got to talking to him. I'm like, hey, I really want to get into this. This is like my jam. And I was like, if I wrote and recorded some vocals, would you be able to mix it, with some of your beats? He's like, yeah, let's do it. So in 2015, we did an EP called Welcome to My Bass, and it had 3 songs and 2 remixes that I sang on and wrote the vocals for. And then we just now have a comeback. It's called Hollywood Rock. Obviously very focused on my life in California now. Mm-hmm. And so I just shot a music video for the song Beat by Beat. In about 2 weeks, I'm having this director, Brainstem. He did a lot of videos for Cuban Doll and some of the bigger artists in the genre. Mm-hmm. He's going to be directing my video for Midnight Dancer. Yes, so watch for those. It's very exciting. I had a lot of fun doing Beat by Beat because it was just very, like flashing, like my bling and hanging out in the hot tub. It was kind of cheesy, but like it's a throwback to those old like kind of videos. And Midnight Dancer will be fun because we got like a limo and we're going to be shooting it in a really nice place, and we got some break dancers. So it's a lot of fun. I enjoy doing it. It's a good escape from the movies, just when like I'm so boggled in that world. It's nice to kind of step away and do something crazy and something fun.
Sounds really cool. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So now all your projects are coming together. How cool. Are there any other like hobbies that you have? I don't know. Are you like a hidden sculptor, or is there anything else we need to know about Dustin Ferguson?
I do. It's funny because, I post a lot on Facebook about what I'm doing, but I do a lot more than what people see on Facebook because I edit. I do a lot of demo reels for people. I cut a lot of movie trailers that you might see. I do a lot of stuff because I want to stay relevant. I want to stay in this industry because I enjoy it, and I want to be able to make a living doing it.
Definitely.
So I do the stuff that's for fun. That's what I want to do, and that's a lot of what you see advertised on Facebook. But then, of course, I'm cutting demo reels on the side and trailers and shit too. So, I'm kind of all over the place.
So, which trailers have you done?
Okay, well, there's one that stars Reggie Lee and Coolio and Danny Trejo called Railroad to Hell. That was by A.K.A. Long. That one I just did. Of course, I did the Meat Hook Massacre 4 trailer that came out a couple of weeks ago. I did the trailer for The Trick or Treaters. I think that just came out to theaters or is coming out to theaters. It's like a found footage Halloween movie.
Oh, nice.
Movie. I've just done like a whole bunch. I did one for an Italian giallo film recently called, I think it was called The Wrong Woman. Yeah, I do a lot of them. I don't turn anything down if I can find something to enjoy about the project. I don't mind doing it. Mm-hmm. Especially if it's something like that can be mutually beneficial. Because I kind of feel like we all need to help each other, and it's like we all can succeed together if we can find things in each other that can help each other out.
Definitely. Agreed. You said that there's some projects that you've done the cinematography on. Do you have your own equipment, rent your equipment? Okay.
It's weird because I do have my own equipment, and I jump back and forth. It just really depends on the budget. Like, I'm hired sometimes to go film other things, and so I'll take my own equipment to do that. Sometimes I'll make my own movies with my own equipment if it's a really low budget film. And then other times, if I have a budget, I'll hire someone to come bring their equipment so I can just strictly direct. So it really, depends. And, this year, I've kind of done all of that. We did Purge, right after I moved here, we shot it in 2 days. It was a movie that is like the Purge movies. It's like a mockbuster. And so we shot it over the entire movie over a weekend. And then a week later, shot Horn Dog's Beach Party over just a weekend.
Oh, wow.
So I did 2 features on 2 weekends back to back. And that was only because I used all my own equipment. I did everything. I was the cinematographer. I did the lighting. I did the sound. I did the editing. I did everything. And it's because it was a low-budget film, and the only way for even it to be worth my time and for me to make any money on it is to do it myself. I have those projects, I have to do. I enjoy doing them. I make the best of them. But then that's so that I can do the other stuff. It's like you have to find that balance.
Mm-hmm. What kind of camera do you use?
Right now, I have just a Sony A6000 Alpha. Mm-hmm. It's pretty basic, but it shoots really good. I shoot almost everything in 60 frames per second now, and so it does a really good job with that. I mean, it's all broadcast quality, low grain levels, perfect in low light. It's really handy for just when you're going quick, which I do. So. Nice. But I do miss the DSLRs because I shot on a DSLR for a long time, and there's certain things I like about that because, I think the DSLRs look more like film because it has that sort of that grainy look. Yes. But what I've come to discover is when those first came out, that's what everybody wanted. That's what distributors wanted because it looked like film. They're like, oh, it still looks like movies. But now everybody wants it to be ultra clean looking. Mm-hmm. Like when I shot Horn Dog's Beach Party, I shot that on a DSLR, and the distributor was pissed. He's like, there's too much grain. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, this looks totally awesome. And he's like, no. He's like, I have to scrub all the grain out. And so it's why I went. Yeah, so it's why I had to go get the Sony camera because I'm like, well, I can't have this problem happen again. So, I mean, you really just got to go with the times, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. So now, what attracts you to the horror genre? What does horror mean to you?
Horror, to me, is just exciting and fun. I feel like life should be exciting and fun, otherwise, why are you even alive? You know what I mean? You want to enjoy it, and it's horror movies are exciting. It's like a roller coaster ride, but it's safe, because you're at home, that your surroundings, that you can still mentally escape into that and follow the characters in the storyline and pull yourself into it. And with each movie, it's a new experience. And the good ones, the ones that resonate with you on an artistic level, you can enjoy for different reasons many times. To me, there's certain movies that just won't get old. Halloween 3 is my favorite horror movie. It's probably my favorite movie, which is such a weird movie to say because not everybody likes that movie. But it's one that would never get old. I mean, I could watch that on repeat every day for forever, and it would just be playing. I wouldn't think of it as it could get old. So something about horror to me just resonates that way. It's exciting and I really connect to it.
Which horror character do you identify with most?
I don't know. It's funny. I always seem to like the mean girls in the movies, the ones that are the bitches. even though I'm totally not like that. I just think that, they're the fun ones. They're the ones you kind of want to see get killed, because they're such a bitch. And so I like those characters the most. I love it when, you're watching an 80s splash movie and then the mean girl comes in and she's a big bitch. You're like, oh, perfect. I love her. So
she's going to die at the end of the movie.
Yeah, those are always the best.
really horribly.
Yeah. Because, those are the ones that you end up actually liking the most because they stand out so much and you want to see them killed. That means they're doing a good job.
Yes. What films are you currently working on? I know you said you just finished a film. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that, or can you?
Well, yeah, I'm doing a bunch of stuff. Obviously, I just finished those 2 documentaries, and then right now I'm doing kind of another one. It's more of a Mondo movie, like Faces of Death or something, but it's called Aliens Exposed SoCal Sightings. And so what it is it's like interviews with people that have seen UFOs or aliens, and then we mix in reenactment footage, and then we have, I probably shouldn't say this, but we totally faked this found footage thing, for the end, where like these two guys are abducted by aliens. I think that might have been the thing I talked about that we wrapped I could talk about. But like we did that. And then I am doing Robo Woman currently. We shot 3 scenes already for that, and so we're going to finish shooting that in November. And then I'm still kind of in limbo on Ghost House. Like I'm going to be remaking it, but it's just this big giant process, and it costs a bunch of money, and there's all these rights, so it's sort of like taking a while. But in the meantime, news is kind of hit about Killer Tomatoes. I don't know how much I can really say about it because I'm supposed to wait till they say, but I'm obviously connected to the project. So
Nice.
there will be more news, about that. And I'm really excited about that because that's another movie, that was part of my
Classic.
childhood.
Clooney.
Yeah, definitely. And and I mean, it's the first VHS, part 1, I remember buying, at the department store when I was really little with my allowance because it wasn't rated R. It was rated PG, and my mom let me buy it because it wasn't rated R. One of the first horror movies I saw was Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, and then of course Return of the Killer Tomatoes with George Clooney was always on USA Up All Night and on TV growing up, and that one's so funny.
Yes, it
And
is.
then,
Hilarious.
It is. I mean, it's hilarious, yeah. And so they're great films, and they're legendary, and everybody knows about them, and everybody's heard of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. So it's definitely something that it's going to really help me, with my career, and it's also something that's an honor personally just to be involved in.
Nice. So what are your upcoming projects? Or do you have anything? I mean, you're doing lots already, but what I mean by upcoming is future goals, nothing current, but what do you see yourself doing?
Well, I'm kind of trying to get into TV a little bit. I shot a pilot for a show called Los Angeles Lifers a little over a month ago that we're shopping to some, different networks that are potentially interested in it. Because I think that would be something that's really, consistent. You can go in on, during the season and film the episodes and get a paycheck and, have it be, consistent with that. So I kind of want to get into that just because I think if I'm going to live here for the rest of my life, it'd be nice to not always be trying to get a lot of work, because right now I'm just sort of in that period where I'm just taking any project I think that will be good, and just so I make sure I can pay my bills and all of that. And it's it'd be nice to have something that's a little regular.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like TV, I love 90s sitcoms I grew up on, In Living Color and Living Single and Martin and, Roseanne, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So I really like that stuff. And so I'm kind of trying to keep that alive. The way I do with my horror movies that are old school, I want to make old school style sitcoms. The one I just did, LA Lifers, has a laugh track, for example, that's totally added.
Okay.
So it's just to make it, old, in its nature and in its approach. So I'd like to kind of go in that direction and see where it takes me.
Nice. So now for your fans, where can we find you?
Okay, well, I'm on Facebook. My profile is public. Anybody can reach out to me and pretty accessible. I have a director page also, just under Dustin Ferguson. It's the public page. And then you can find me on Instagram as The Only Dirty D.
The Only Dirty what?
Dirty D.
Oh, Dirty B. Dirty D. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Dustin. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
Well, I really appreciate you having me on the show. And I just recently, if you are into zombie movies, people should pick up the Return of the Living Dead 2 Blu-ray from Shout Factory. I filmed an interview that's on there. And there's also a Critters box set coming out that I helped with that people should look out for.
Oh, nice. You're all over the place. We love it. And all the best to you, Dustin. But it's time for you to go now, and I'm getting hungry.
Oh, no. I don't like the sound of that.
Come here. It's time to cut my oven.
I don't think I'm going to fit in there. I just put on a lot of weight from those donuts.
It's time to go.
No!